This video guides you through the new bleeding process for all MAGURA disc brakes from model year 2015 onwards. A list of the tools required can be found in the description of this video. First, check the condition of the brake system. Brake pads and rotors may only be used within their wear limit. The new MAGURA bleeding process consists of 2 steps. In the first step, the brake master is bled, and only then, if necessary, the brake caliper and hose. First, we show you how to bleed the brake master. Fill the syringe with the compensation hole with 10 milliliters of royal blood mineral oil. Add about 1 milliliter of air. Align the brake master according to the model specifications. Note that some models only have a bleed screw on one side. You may need to rotate the brake master. The wheel and brake pads can remain mounted. Open the EBT screw with a T25 and place it on a clean surface. Now insert the prepared syringe into the EBT opening with a twisting motion. Hold the syringe in the brake master and pull the syringe plunger to just below the compensation hole. Then press the oil back into the brake system with light pressure. When no more air bubbles rise, the syringe's piston can be pulled over the compensation hole. The oil level in the syringe will now drop and fill the oil reservoir of the brakes. Now check the pressure point of the brake. If the pressure point feels defined, there is no need to bleed the brake caliper. If the pressure point is not yet ideal, skip to step 2. The following shows how to complete the brake master bleeding process. Important. To avoid overfilling the brake, the pistons of the brake caliper must now be pushed back completely. To do this, carefully press against the backing plates of the pads with a screwdriver or plastic tool, pushing the pistons back to their original position. Any excess oil will flow into the syringe. Then press the piston of the syringe about 1 milliliter below the compensation hole. Have a cloth ready and remove the syringe from the brake master with a twisting motion. Insert the EBT screw and tighten it to 0.5 Newton meters. Alternatively, the correct torque can be achieved by tightening the EBT screw by 45 degrees from the first resistance. Actuate the brake lever several times to move the pistons out. If necessary, the brake caliper must then be realigned. Finally, check the brake for leaks and proper function. Now, we show you how to bleed the brake caliper. Perform this step if bleeding the brake master has not yet achieved an optimal pressure point. The syringe with the compensation hole remains mounted in the brake master while bleeding the brake caliper. The syringe's piston should be above the hole. Push the caliper pistons back with a screwdriver or suitable plastic tool. Hold MT and LOUISE calipers upright when pushing back the pistons to make bleeding easier afterwards. Also remove the wheel and brake pads. And fix the transportation device with the bleed block side in the brake caliper. Fill the second syringe with 15 milliliters of royal blood and ensure that there is no air in the syringe. How you attach the syringe to the brake caliper depends on your brake model. GUSTAV and LOUISE disc brakes must be bled using a MAGURA bleed valve. This may already be factory fitted or may need to be installed for bleeding. To install the valve, the bleed screw must be at the highest point of the system. To do this, remove the brake caliper and bring it to the same height as the brake master. To do this, either turn the bicycle in the repair stand or hold the brake caliper at the height of the brake master. This prevents oil from leaking out. Open the bleed screw and install the bleed valve, preferably with an 8mm ring spanner. Remove the plug. Place the ring spanner on the valve and insert the second syringe into the valve either directly or using the hose adapter. Brakes from the MT family use the silver M6 fitting to connect bleed syringes. When opening the bleed screw and installing the syringe as explained, make sure to keep the brake master and brake caliper at the same height to prevent oil leakage. Then tighten the M6 fitting with an 8mm open-end wrench and a maximum torque of 4 Nm. When bleeding the brakes, ensure that the brake caliper is positioned correctly. LOUISE and MT brake calipers must hang vertically. GUSTAV brake calipers can remain mounted on the bicycle during bleeding. Always hold the syringe and caliper so that no air from the syringe enters the system. Open the valve half a turn and then pull the plunger of the lower syringe back as far as possible without drawing air into the system from the upper syringe. Then press the entire oil volume from the lower syringe through the system into the upper syringe. Be careful not to allow air into the system. And pull it back completely again. Repeat this process 3 to 4 times. Finally, use the lower syringe to press about 10 milliliters of oil into the upper syringe. Now close the valve and tighten it to 4.5 Nm. When removing the syringe, pull lightly on the piston to create negative pressure and extract excess oil. Then insert the plug, which serves as dust protection. For brakes in the MT family, first bring the brake caliper to the level of the brake master to prevent oil from escaping. Unscrew the lower syringe. To prevent air from being trapped, the oil should be at the opening before closing. Install the bleed screw with a tightening torque of 4 Nm and catch any excess oil with a cloth. You can use the same procedure to replace the bleed valves on LOUISE and GUSTAV brakes with the appropriate bleed screws. Now push the piston of the brake master syringe 1 milliliter below the compensation hole. Have a cloth ready and remove the syringe with a slight twisting motion. Insert the EBT screw and tighten it to 0.5 Nm. Alternatively, the correct torque can be achieved by tightening the EBT screw 45 degrees from the first resistance. Now check the brake's pressure point. The transportation device makes the pressure point feel softer, but it should still be clearly noticeable. If the pressure point is not satisfactory, start again at step 1, bleeding the brake master. Finally, clean the brake with isopropanol or a suitable brake cleaner. Refit the brake pads and wheel. And finally check the brake for safe operation and leaks. Further information can be found in the service area at magura.com or in person at your Magura dealer.